In this video we have a rectangular prism that we're going to solve. And in order to solve a rectangular prism, we're going to start off the same way that we did with the cylinder. We're going to go ahead and write our formula up front. It is S is equal to pH plus 2B. Let's start with our P. So we're going to write our P is equal to, and we'll write our little h is equal to, and our big B. And that represents the perimeter of the base, the height, and the area of the base. So let's go ahead and locate our bases. Our bases are the surfaces at which it'd be sitting on. Another thing that you'll run into on some of these shapes is that the bases will typically be the two shapes that match each other. So in many of these figures, not all of them, but in a lot of them, you'll have two sides that match each other and all the other sides will be different. In this case it doesn't work, but in the triangular prism it will work. And so we'll look at our top and bottom, our two sides that match each other, that are top and bottom. That's our basis. I shaded them in because we need to know which one's the base so we know what formula to use. So let's go ahead and start with our perimeter. So when we look at the perimeter of this shape is going to be 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. And that's perimeter of any rectangle. So if you look at this, we're dealing with this rectangle right here. So if I were to draw it underneath, what we have is this rectangle, and we want its perimeter. And remember, for perimeter, we just want the outside measurements of this entire shape. So this right here is the length, this is the length, this is the width, and this is the width. And that's how I came up with this formula, which is 2L, 2 times the length, plus 2 times the width. So if we go back down, we say, well, what is our width? And if we look right here, it says it's 1. So our width is equal to 1. And then our length is this side right here. And if you notice, it's equal to 2. And this is in feet. So we can go ahead and plug that in. So I can go, okay, well, 2 times my length, which is 2 feet, plus 2 times my width, which is 1 foot, is equal to, and that'll give us 2 times 2 is 4, plus 2 times 1, which is 2, so that's 4 plus 2, that gives me 6 feet. So when we're looking at the perimeter, our perimeter is 6 feet. So if we were to walk around this entire rectangle, it would be 6 feet. We'd have 2 feet here, 1 foot, 2 foot, and then another foot. What we need to do is find our height. So when we're looking at the height, we're looking at the distance between our two bases. This is the bottom base, this is the top. Or we could say the difference are between the top and bottom of the figure. The distance, that is, between the top and bottom. So on this one, it gives it to us. It says that it's 6 foot. So from top to bottom, it's 6 foot. That's the distance between our two bases. So we're simply going to write 6 foot. So there's one number. We have our other number here. All we have left to do is the area of the base. And since this is a rectangle, that's a formula that we're quite familiar with. The area of the base of any rectangle is just going to be the length times the width. So just so you can see it, I'm going to put LW, which means length times width, is equal to, and my length is going to be 2, so I'm going to put a 2 in there, times my width, which is 1, so I'm going to put a 1 in there, and that gives me 2 feet squared. Now notice we have all the numbers we need now for P, H, and B, so we can go ahead and plug this into our formula up here on top and get our total surface area. So if we are to do so, we end up with S is equal to pH plus 2B. That's going to give me my total surface area. I'm going to call that TSA. So I'll write that down here, TSA. So for P, I'm going to plug in my number. So P is 6 foot. So I'm going to put 6. My H, which is right here, is going to be 6 foot. Then I'm going to have plus 2, so I'm just going to bring down my 2, my coefficient for my variable B, And then I'm going to plug in my b, which is 2 feet squared. So I'm going to put another 2. Now we just need to put this, either do this in our head or put this into our calculator. So if we were going to put it into the calculator, I'm going to bring my calculator over here. What we have is we would have 6 times 6 plus 2 times 2. And that's going to be the perimeter times the height, and then 2 times the area of the base. Hit enter. That gives us 40. So then we can go ahead and write that down. That's a clean, even number. We don't have to worry about approximating. 40 feet squared. And that is our total surface area. And we can go ahead and box that. That's our answer for our total surface area. Now on the other hand, if for this particular object we were asked to get the lateral surface area, then we would only be looking at this area. I'm going to shade it in right here, back and forth. We'd only be looking at this area that goes all the way around our shape, all the way down, and we would not include the bases. We would not include this bottom base. We would not include the top base. So I'm going to go ahead and work that out. So if we're going to do LSA, I'm going to write that right here, LSA, which stands for the lateral surface area. All we would need is our pH. pH is equal to the lateral surface area. So I'm going to plug in my numbers for just the P and the H. And we've already done it over here, but I'm just going to do it once again. So we're going to put in a 6, which is our perimeter. And then for our H, I'm going to put in another 6, which is our height. And 6 times 6 gives me 36. So it's 36 feet squared. And that would be our lateral surface area. So there it is.